Hi, it's Gary. Welcome to today's video. Today, it's Fountain Pen Focus Day. We're going to focus on the Majohn or Moonman M600s. Love the colour of this pen, really pretty, looks very nice. Not a standard M600s in the fact that I've actually changed the nib. So this has got a Hongdian long knife nib on it. Quite an unusual nib. Join me now down on the table. Let's take a look at the pen, do a walk through the body, do some size comparisons, weights and measures, a writing sample, and then I'll give you my thoughts and some scores on this pen. Welcome down to the table. Here we've got the Majohn or the Moonman M600s. Just look at this beautiful colour. I'm just going to slowly turn this around. I love the way this pen looks. Very, very pretty. Let's take a walk through the body. So starting at the top, we've got a flat top. Will it stand on there? Just going to try that. Yeah, that'll balance on there quite nicely, nice and flat. All black, we're tapering out until we come to this band, this gold coloured band, which has got the clip attached. The clip made it look like a Parker clip in my opinion. So we've got some chevrons and we're coming down to that like arrow end at the bottom. Fairly stiff, but it will just about come off there. The whole pen, when we look at it, it's actually very much inspired by a Parker duofold. The cap, same width all the way down. We've then got two narrower bands, which run all the way around. We've got a little bit more resin, then we have a step down to the body. The body, again, same width all the way down till we come to another metal band. Then we've got that black cap. And again, that'll stand on there quite nicely. Simple looking pen. I do like the colour though. Have I mentioned that already? Let's take the cap off. So there's half, 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5. Just under 3 turns to come off. So that's a lot of turns in my opinion. That comes off. We've got a section. The section is in that black colour, slightly concave. So we're coming in a little bit, then we're coming out at the bottom, which does give somewhere nice for your finger to rest. That's a nice way that is shaped. I find it very comfortable even for longer writing sessions. And then we reveal the nib. Now the nib on here is not the nib that the pen comes with. I've swapped the nib. It's a number 6 size nib, very easy, just pulls out and a new one goes in. This is a Kaigaloo long blade or long knife nib. So it's slightly like an Architect. Only slightly though, it's very, very subtle. It's not a highly pronounced one. But I do find when I'm writing it makes a nice change. It gives a little bit of variation to my line. The pen is a cartridge converter. There's a converter. It does come with a converter. Let's pop that back together. Let's do some size comparisons. The pens I've brought in are my standards. So we've got Pilot Metropolitan, Lamy Safari. All 3 pens very similar in size when they've got the cap on. Yes, I know the Metropolitan a little bit on the shorter side and definitely the Metropolitan a lot thinner. Let's take the caps off. With the caps off, again, very similar story, very similar in terms of length. We do have that number 6 size nib though on the Majohn, so it is that slightly longer nib than the other 2. The pen itself in the hand is a very nice feeling pen. It's a nice length, it's a nice width. As I've already said, I do like here this where we've got the section shaped. It guides my fingers. I hold my pen down near the bottom of the section. Really nice. The pen sort of posts, but it goes just onto this end finial here and it's very wobbly, as you can see there. I'm just wobbling it with my finger. It comes off little tiny shakes, so not a pen to post. Let's swap on over and look at some pens that are in roughly the same price range. The 2 pens I brought in a Kaigaloo 316A. That was 35 Aussie dollars. The Majohn M600s, 35 Aussie dollars. The Kaweco Sport, 35 Aussie dollars. All 3 pens, the exact same price, but you can see a lot of differences. Yes, we've got a very similar shape here with the Kaigaloo and the Majohn. I do like the material better though on the Kaigaloo, I will be honest. And then the Sport, it's a pocket pen designed to be used posted, which is why I'm showing it posted. Look at the size of that nib though there on the Sport. Looks tiny, doesn't it, compared to the other two? Let's pop the caps on them. With the caps on, I just wanted to show this. The 316 and the M600s, virtually identical. Look at the size of that Sport with its cap on there. Let's swap on over and we'll do some weights and measures. Here's the rule of measuring. So in comes the pen. So with the cap on, 14 centimetres. Unposted, 12.6 centimetres. We've already seen it doesn't post. The width of the body at its widest part, which is here, that's 1.27 centimetres. The width of the cap, again, looking at its widest point, 1.49. And the section goes from 1.01 all the way up to 1.1 centimetres. So not an overly wide section, but it still feels nice and comfortable. Let's swap on over and fetch in the scales of weigh-in. Here we've got the scales of weigh-in. So the full pen, 28 grams. Nice weighty pen. I quite like the weight of it. The body, 18 grams. The cap, 11 grams. So a nice, I would say, average weighted pen. Let's swap on over and fetch in the notepad of testing. Just dropping in to interrupt your regular programming. Would you like to help support the channel? If so, please consider joining as a member. As a member, you'll get early access to my videos. I normally upload them a couple of days before they go out, and as soon as they're uploaded, they'll be released to members. There'll also be a shout out at the end of the videos, and then as we get the members coming in, we'll actually chat among ourselves and work out what other perks, what other things you'd like me to add in. Would you like maybe a monthly live chat just for members? All down to us. So please, if you can, consider joining the channel. A link will be in the description down below. Here we've got the notepad of testing. This is optic paper. This is a black and red A5 notebook. I love this paper. One of my favourite papers for using my fountain pens with. So here's a Moonman or the Majohn M600s. So we've got a Majohn M600s with a Kaigaloo long blade. And the price for this pen was 35 Aussie dollars. I did pay roughly, I think it was $12 for the nib, but I haven't included that. So if I was to go on AliExpress to buy another one of these pens with the Majohn nib, it'd be $35. The ink is by Colorverse, and it's got this awesome name, Albert. I think it's brilliant. Nice, gorgeous green ink this. I really like the colour of this ink. Drying times, so we go immediate, 10 seconds, 30 seconds, 1 minute. Still fairly wet there at a minute. What I'm going to do is do a 2-minute test. Even after 2 minutes, we're still getting some smudging. So this is one, I do have to think sometimes with this. I love the line, but it's very wet. If I'm doing multiple page notes, I have to be very careful how I go. Let's move the mic down to the page and write a sentence. Now, hopefully that came over the mic and over the noise of the snoring dog. There's a lot of very scratchy feedback coming through. It's only audible though. It does not feel scratchy when I'm writing with it. It's got a beautiful tactile nature to the nib. Feels really nice. You can see the shading. I love this ink. Really do love this combo. Very, very nice. It's just a shame it's so wet. Now look at line variation. This is where the pen comes into its own, or this nib, shall I say. Here's no pressure, and here's with pressure. So not seeing too much of a difference. The nib does feel fairly stiff. Where we do see something, that's going down and that's going across. And what I do get is I see different line widths. So I'm just trying here with the pen at different angles. And because of this nib, I do see the line across ever so slightly wider. Hard to see though because it's so small. Flow test. Keeps up really well regardless of direction. Really nice. Now I don't often do this because I don't reverse write. Reverse writing with this nib, very, very, very scratchy. Lots of missing lines there. But going forward is alright. Very nice. So what are my thoughts and my scores for this pen? Let's start with pen looks. I love the colouring. Look at this. It's so pretty. There's a number of different colours in this line. All of them look really nice. I've only got the one M600s, mainly because it's $35, and for $25 I can get a Jinhao 100, which looks virtually identical and writes just as well. So I do find I go for the Jinhao 100s more. But in terms of looks, which is what the store we're doing at the moment, very nice. I'm going to give it 8 out of 10. Build quality, I've had this nearly 3 years now. Had no issues. Writes well. Converter works well, easy to clean out, easy to swap the nib. Isn't that the beauty with these number 6 nibs? You can swap and change the nibs really at your heart's content. Very few limitations on that. So for build quality, 8 out of 10. Writing experience. As you see here, fairly wet, beautiful shading. I'm going to fetch in my Tomoe River paper here. So we've got the Majohn M600s. I managed to mess up there with the ink. So eventually I corrected it. Even on here, the line looks very, very nice. Going to compare this just very quickly here. This is a Custom Heritage 92, which is a gold nib. You can see some different character coming out now when you compare the two. Do like the way this nib looks. Do love the shading. Look, even on here, full of shading. I would have liked to have had that long blade a little bit wider just so we can actually see more pronounced line variation. But I'm being very picky. But yeah, writing experience, extremely nice. Love it. Just wet. Just need to make sure that you bear that in mind if you're doing multiple page notes. So for writing experience, 8 out of 10. Ink flow, we've already mentioned the wetness. No issues with skipping, no hard starts. Beautiful line. Ink flow, 8 out of 10. Comfort, it's duofold style. Very similar. Section does feel a little bit on the thin side. I'm being extremely picky here. Length of the pen is nice. I say it doesn't post. So if you want to try it, put on that end finial, extremely long and that wobbles a lot. So not a pen to post. It's still nice. It's a nice width. A little bit thin though. But it's enjoyable to use. 8 out of 10. Value for money. It's a good solid pen. Comparing it to other pens in the same price range, very good value. As I said, Jinhao 100 looks virtually identical. Usually they're about $10 cheaper. So they're the pens I tend to go for. But I'm not saying I'll never get another M600s. If I saw one for sale and it was just a colour that grabbed me, I would quite happily buy it. But at the moment, I just have this one. Value for money, 8 out of 10. That means the total score for the Majohn M600s with Colorverse Albert is 8 out of 10. I hope you've enjoyed today's video. What are your thoughts on the Majohn or Moonman M600s? I was quite surprised when I did it how easy it is to swap the nib. So that was something I haven't really done in many of my other pens, but I really need to start doing that. Beauty of fountain pens, isn't it? Being able to change things around and explore the way different nibs work. What are your thoughts on this pen? What are your thoughts on nib swapping? Please drop a comment down below. Let's kickstart the conversation. Please hit the thumbs up button. Every time you like, every time you comment, just helps with the YouTube algorithm. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel so that you can get new videos as I release them. I'll talk to you again soon.